It's a pleasure to have the chance to dive into your creative journey and to hear firsthand about the inspiration and story behind your collection. Let us start how this exhibition came to life. What drew you to Studio 11 and what can visitors experience from this particular exhibition?
Well, thank you for being curious enough to come and interview me and being interested in my art collection.
Mhm.
This has been a very successful, and it's been my very first solo exhibition at Studio 11. Um, people, I want people to see the vulnerability and how open-minded I am about expressing my feelings. And this is a way, a media and I use to express my emotions.
Mhm.
And our emotions are shared in between, since we are human beings, it's a universal, um, celebrated emotional experience. And I'm sure that people can relate to my paintings, even though they are a little unconventional, since I am more an experimental artist
Mhm.
and they are more figurative. And I think I would emphasize on more of emotional expression rather than
Mhm.
physical accuracy. So that's what I want people to, you know, actually visualize and relate to, I
Mhm.
guess. Yeah.
Before going deep dive into your techniques and art style, I want to ask you about your background. Who is Ehon?
Okay. Well, let's start by my name.
Sure.
I am Tsion Mehari. I am a 24-year-old person. Um, I graduated last year in architecture. I'm an architect, but I started doing graphics design works because it's more artistic and creative for me. But as a painter and as an artist, I've always been enthusiastic about painting. It's been part of me. I've grown with it. Every childhood starts out by being curious about art. I went along with it. I used to carry around my own sketchbooks since I was, I don't know, 11-year-old.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's been sticking with me throughout my life and experiences. And I used to always draw my own figures. I used to create my own unique characters since I was a child. And this is how I evolved as a person. And through my experiences and my lifestyle, I have uh, been curious enough to keep going, pushing with the boundaries and the art styles I don't know, with every experience and emotion I can express. Um, my base is Addis Ababa. I've lived and grown here. I have never really been anywhere else, but Addis Ababa's diversity has been enough for me to um, observe different types of people and for them to be an inspiration and a moving element in my art style.
Hmm. I'm wondering if you have never been out of Addis. Did you graduate from Addis Ababa University?
Yes,
Oh.
AIBC, as you know, I graduated here and as an architect. Yeah.
Did you get any extra lesson on art?
So I took a 2 month summer class at Arat Kilo Enlightenment School. I took shade and shadow classes for 2 months. It kind of gave me a little push to be more professional with my art skills.
I see.
So that's how I grew my more technical approaches to my painting.
Hmm. And how would you describe your art unique style and how has it evolved over the years?
So my unique styles, as you can see, are more unconventional portraitures. They have elongated and distorted features. That's mainly evolved through my experimental phases of being more emotionally expressive in my paintings.
I see.
So by elongating or like restructuring the figures, I focus more on, I intensely express those emotions of vulnerability and loneliness.
I'm very curious about what kind of emotions would you like to express. When I observe at your painting, I see some kind of confusion, sadness in the portrait's face. And is it the same feeling for you as well?
Yes, I personally have a one-to-one connection and attachment to every pieces you see here. I have gone through very specific thoughts and emotions that kind of gave birth to these pieces. They're also inspired by captures of moments I see in people's faces, those undescribable emotions, those emotions that you only see in a very subtle way. And unless you really are an observant person, you don't really capture it. I wanted to put out that emotional state of being human so people can actually relate to it in a very grounded and deep way.
I mean, when I again observed your painting, it looks very deep, and I feel that I'm too much connected with each piece of your paintings because when I look at them, they look at me back. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Well, that is the point, to actually have a one-to-one to a relationship with the viewer.
Yeah.
It's important to trigger those emotions so you can find strength or find hope in feeling down or breaking down or feeling a little sad or depressed or anxious or even angry. You can see some of my paintings have more energetic emotions displayed. So they're more universal. They kind of attack you in a way, but you have to be more strong to be vulnerable. That's the whole concept of the painting.
During our off-screen conversation, you talked about breaking physical boundaries in your art. Could you elaborate what that means to you?
Breaking the boundary is a little rebellious, and it's not a cultural approach, especially in Ethiopia, to come up with more a figurative, non-traditional kind of figures. And I wanted to show people that they can achieve, that they don't really have to follow the culture, but like evolve in the culture. So I wanted to be a starting point for other artists or other any kind of poets or in any person in the creative industry to start up from the culture of Ethiopia or Addis Ababa and start to experiment in their own way. That's how I define breaking the boundaries. That we don't have to be closed in our own cultures, in our own styles. We can develop our identity based on where we live, and we don't have to be traditional about since we are in the modern world now. It's more globalized, and I grasp my inspirations just not from here, from everywhere else. So I think it unifies us, being more expressive and stepping out of the boundaries. It's a shared and universal approach that I took by breaking the traditional laws.
It's interesting. I also wonder how you translate these raw emotions into the painting, and maybe you can further emphasize about the painting process.
So my painting processes are mostly ignited by emotions or memories that I've personally experienced. So since I believe that we are all experiencing the same things in different ways, there's something deep that is really grounded and is a foundation to human emotion. So I believe that whatever I'm feeling, you're also feeling it too. So that's where it starts, from myself. It's very personal, and I keep my thoughts, my individual's thoughts, and I express them in a very specific way. So you can see the titles in the paintings. They have their own thoughts that's specifically for the painting. So I'm thinking about that thought. I'm in that emotional phase. There are memories behind it igniting those emotions. So that's what goes into the paintings. For if you want more technical descriptions, as a skilled painter, I experimented with texture and color to, help the emotions come up even more. They have depth. So the colors also give you feelings, and for the viewers, they kind of trigger emotional stages, specific ones. So you can see the blues, the yellows, the purples. They kind of attack, like they kind of focus on, they trigger, or like, you know, they kind of show that specific emotions in people. So,
did you make the paintings using acrylic or oil painting?
yeah, so my medium is acrylic paint, a little bit of oil. I add a little bit of oil in it. The canvas is a wallpaper that I use for the paintings. It's a funny story. It's just a coincidental thing that I discovered the wallpaper. We moved houses with my family, and I came across the wallpaper just in the corner, and I was curious enough to experiment on that wallpaper, and then I started to paint on it, and I started to sketch on it, and it was just a perfect way of showcasing how experimental I was with my art journey.
I feel like it's unique. Yeah. Well, you told me that your work reflects your personal experience, and how does this theme shape your artistic voice?
My artistic voice says that it's fine to be vulnerable, and that I found the strength to paint and visualize my unexpressed emotions, and showing it to people is the way of me being vulnerable and also strong at the same time. And I'm trying to voice that it's okay to be vulnerable. It gives us strength, and it keeps us going. It keeps us connected to each other. That's what it says.
And how do you hope viewers will respond to your paintings?
I hope viewers find courage in my paintings. I hope they find that they're not alone in this world, that we are all in it together. I want them to feel that it's okay to be where they are right now, and that they should be grateful, and that they should be more expressive about their emotions. And I want them to for their voice to come out as well.
I see. This exhibition has been open for the past 2 weeks, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the overall feedback so far?
There are really, really good feedbacks. People have been connected, and they have related to my paintings. It's very amazing. Even the specific ones, not just like the whole exhibition. There are people who wanted that painting, the specific painting that they connected to, and I'm glad that they were different enough to actually attract a certain kind of person to each painting. Well, I don't know, it's been really great. Like the people have been leaving notes, thanking me for opening up, sharing my process. Even my sketchbooks are out there in the open, and I'm just trying to be an example for people to be open with, like really, really vulnerable and really expressive with themselves. And people have been really giving a good support for the art.
Nice. Do you find anyone, purchasing your art?
Yes, I sold like 9 pieces.
Oh, wow.
So far. Yeah, it's been amazing. People really, really like the paintings, and I hope soon that I kind of print the paintings, sell them, so they distribute more. But the paintings themselves, the original ones, have been selling really good.
I think you sell a good amount.
Yes,
Yeah.
really.
Congratulations for that.
I have 20 pieces. I almost sold half of them. It's really good.
So we're gonna take a look at each pieces before it's fully sold out. The next question is, what challenge have you encountered while developing such a distinctive art form, and how do you overcome this challenge?
Okay. So the challenges were stepping out of the boundary was one challenge. Being grounded here in this country it's mostly not accepted by most people to be I don't know, like very boldly expressive in a dark way. And I've always been into that toned down, really heavy, emotional, dark art. I've always been that way, and as a person. So that has been a challenge. Like people have been giving me not so good feedbacks. Please change your style, be more colorful. Those have been the feedbacks. But as a very, very stubborn person that I am, I kept on pushing and keeping up with my art style, even if regardless what kind of people have commented on my painting. That has been one of the major challenges. The other challenges were very minor. They were just challenges I faced while I was trying to express my emotions through the paintings. Those challenges I think I overcame. Yeah, those are the major ones.
I'm wondering if during the process of painting, I mean, if painting of certain emotions will give you a relief or further, worsen your emotions.
It's a relief. It's like a load just dropped, you know. When I express those specific emotions in every pieces, it's like I have reset my piece again. I have found my strength again, and I keep going and experiencing even worse situations, but I overcame them because I already have the strength and and a way to voice my emotions. So, yeah.
And how are you now balancing your personal life with the painting?
They are my personal life.
Oh, wow.
They are part of me. They are part of my life. I literally carry my sketchbooks everywhere I go. They don't leave my side. I don't know. Work is something else. But these are just part of me. So
I have seen your sketch at the corner. So you're gonna tell us a few things about your sketch, which we're gonna go there, like after a few questions. But I would like to ask you now about, how your work challenges traditional perception of portraiture. Does it?
Yeah, so as a non-traditional artist and as a more expressive expressionist, I guess you can say, I focus more on being more expressive rather than being physically accurate, and trying to actually put a person's face in my paintings is more boring. And so for me, so I step out of that boundary, and they're still, you can see the human figures, but they're a bit distorted. So you can see their tortured souls or their desperate faces and their sad faces. And so I think that's the whole point of stepping out of the boundary, to be more expressive. I don't think traditional portraitures really employ that emotional depth, So.
And with all the vulnerabilities, have you got strengthened from your works?
Yes, I have. It's not an easy thing to do, I'll be honest. Coming out of nowhere, literally, and the millions of people in the city, and coming out of the nowhere and saying, I have a voice, and to show your art is a huge courage for me to do. I've always been a shy person. Like in classes, I've always been the one in the corner, the art girl in the corner. But nobody expected me to showcase my own painting. So it was a really tough but really satisfying path. And yeah, I'm glad I did so to be here.
As an Addis Ababan or Addis Ababalit, how has living in Addis influenced your overall artistic vision?
As I said, Addis Ababa is now filled with a lot of types of people. The upcoming generation is also being very expressive in their fashion, in their music. So I think I also, since I am that part of that generation with the mixed influences and globalization and social media, since I'm part of that generation, I think I don't think there's an identity issue. Yes, I am an Addis Ababan. I'm an Ethiopian, but I'm also in that specific generation where we're like combined with Western ideas, and we are also based in Ethiopia. We also have that identity, but you're also layered with different ideas, ideologies, and that's since that's an influence here. We do have different cultures. በየሰፈሩ ምናምን የሚለያይ ነገር አለና yeah, it's just something that I observe that I think I capture most of the time. It's not from the interactions I have, it's mostly from afar that I just capture those characters I see on the roads. ረዥም መንገድ ሲሄድ ምናምን ነገር የሆነ ማያቸው ሰዎች አሉ ከነሱ I just capture those moments. How are they sitting? Are they alone? And what kind of interactions are they sitting in? How are they interacting with people? የሚለውን that's where I find the inspirations as a Addis Ababan.
Tsion, are you a full-time studio artist right now?
No, I'm not.
What's your future plan?
Well, I have a lot of future plans, but one of my future plan is to keep on experimenting more on these art styles. So I want to widen my canvas and make a bold statement on other concepts that I'm trying to experiment on. But for now, I mean, yeah, other future goals are to open my own workshop, my own studio. I'm also a full-time graphics designer. So I'm also experimenting on that digital world creativity. So I would love to implement my painting figures onto that digital artistic, creative way. So I'd like to spread my wings well enough and be more creative in every field possible, not just the painting.
And how do you find the support system of your family and your surrounding?
I consider myself a very lucky person because my family has been a very supportive system for me. Since I was a child, they have bought me color paint, papers to draw on, and I have never been discouraged. They've always kept me going, and my family has been a big support. They're very important to me and my art journey. My surroundings have always been my peers, and they have always been interested in my paintings. So they have encouraged me to keep on doing my paintings, regardless the other surroundings negative feedback. My family and my classmates have been the support that I needed. So,
I mean, you definitely are the lucky person if you got the necessary support you need from your beloved ones. My next question is, how do you keep evolving as an artist, and what new direction are you excited to explore in the future? Do you want to stick in this portrait emotion kind of a thing, or you have like a lot of ways to go?
Good question, because I have also thought of starting my own, another conceptual ideas on how to be more expressive. So this collection is about solitude.
Okay.
It specifically just focuses on one person. So my next goal or my next achievement would be the interactions between people. So it's going to be 2 or more people, or it's going to be part of a society. How do we sit with each other in silence, or how do we overcome those awkward situations between 2 people or 4 people? How are we interacting with each other? Those undescribed moments that I want to capture and express, that would be my next, hopefully I achieve that. That would be my next collection.
So if you are focusing on one person, is this like 2 person, one with hair and without hair? I'd like to have an explanation on that.
Well, when I made the first collection, this is the first collection. So I focused on a more soft emotion, very subtle. You can see the brushes strokes, they're very subtle and very smooth. The others are more textured. So when I started with the collection, I was feeling a little low. This is the first collection, as I said. So you can see that he's bald, a little old. You can see a little wisdom in his eyes. He's processing it, he's processing his emotions, but in a wise and calm and silent way. So you can see these characters all over the collections. So that's what their concept is, specifically the old, wiser, soft toned paintings. They kind of express the feelings that when they're soft, less energy kind of paintings. But the other ones with the hair, they're more youthful, younger generation. They're more energetic, but they're still broken. So I'm trying to balance those two, like being wise and being soft and still in that emotional phase. And then the other one would be more youthful, energetic. It's gonna be more angry. It's gonna be more,
I see.
But still in despair, and it's broken, but it's still fighting back. That's what I'm trying to express.
Why do you decide to use the purple and blue color for the old one and the red and yellow color for the used one?
As I said, it's about being soft and being energetic. So when you use cold colors like blue and violet, they're more approached with softness. And when it's warm colors like yellow, red, orange, they're more energetic. But you can see a little diversity because I've also used blue with more energy. And I put the energy by adding textures in the blue. And you can see that there's a youthful part, which is blue and textured. But, there's a combination going on because I was more experimental with my paintings. But that's the major approach that I took.
Speaking of emotions, Tsion explained to me the message behind her beloved works.
Well, this painting is called I Need Affirmation. So when I painted this painting, I was feeling very anxious and very unsure about my decisions and what I was doing. So I needed somebody to tell me, to affirm me that I'm doing a good job or a bad job. So I found myself doing this, just like being really not confident, so self-unsure about myself. So that's how I painted this. And the reason that I made it blue is because I felt really, really sad. There was no energy. It was just me being soft and very down.
I see.
So that's how I wanted to express my insecurities and unsureness of myself. So I titled it I Need Affirmation.
So the hand gesture is all about you want to rely on someone.
Yes.
Nice.
So this painting is called I'm Bitter Sometimes. I just found myself being, I don't know, more pushy. I didn't want anybody beside me because I was feeling hurt and I was acting out a lot and I was angry. And the position of this person was inspired by just a random person just standing by himself, and he had his hand on a railing, and that was how I wanted to express that.
I see.
I'm done with, I'm being ignorant, I'm turning my face away because I don't want to be hurt. That's the full expression of this.
You really did an amazing job.
Thank you.
I really like your paintings.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about the general art. First of all, who do you aspire as an artist?
Artists that I look up to. I'm really bad with names, but majorly Pablo Picasso was one of. He was a big inspiration for me to start this collection. His blue period I discovered while we were taking history of art in architecture school.
Okay.
That's when I discovered him. I didn't even know that much about his work. But the blue period kind of struck a little inspiration in me. So he's one of the major ones. There are other expressionist artists that experiment with figurative arts, but I can't say their names because I have forgotten. Yeah.
Do you have any person you admire from the Ethiopian artists?
Not really, because they didn't. They're more abstract and more traditional. So yes, I did speak a little conceptual, but I just for as an observer, not as an inspiration. But yeah, there are a couple of Ethiopians. I don't really. I can't. Some that I'm not fully.
I understand.
I'm not good.
What impact do you want to have maybe after 10 years ahead?
10 years is a very long time, but
you're only going to be 34. Trust me, you are still young.
Well, by 34, I guess I hopefully want to achieve having my own brand, you know, since I have started out with a bold, in your face, different, unique characters. I would also like to keep that, you know, uniqueness going. So I'd like to maybe have my own studio, teach students, be more experimental with my art, keep going. You know, that's what I want to do.
Wish you good luck.
Thank you.
And what advice would you like to give for aspiring as artists who want to develop their own voice, their own unique style?
Well, I haven't really gotten that far to give advices, but in my experience, I say stay true to your emotions. Be honest, be vulnerable, and be expressive. Stay strong. Don't listen to anyone because you have to stand by yourself. That's what brought me here. Staying strong and just keep going. Be experimental with any materials that you'd like to experiment with. Be open-minded. Be an observant person. Try to understand people in a deeper emotion. Be empathetic. That's what I advise an upcoming artist.
Are there any person you'd like to thank?
Yes, I'd like to thank my family for really standing by me this whole year, all the time. Like since I was born, they've been there by my side. They've been encouraging my art journey. I'd like to thank my friends, my classmates that have kept me going. When I was when I was drawing in class, they were very curious and they were happy that I was a different person. They didn't, you know, they didn't abandon me or anything. They were really supportive. I would also love to thank Studio 11 for being curious enough to actually showcase my art. They are really amazing people. They kept on, they really got me here. So without them, without this space, I would not have been here. Yeah, so that's.
It's really my pleasure having you for this week's Meet the Painter guest. Thank you so much, Tsion.
Thank you very much.